Hey everyone, what's up? Hmm. Hey everyone. Hey, hey. Just hold on. Ah, I hope that works. Bear with me. Bear with me. Start to perfection. How are you? Thank you. Thank you. Just give me a few moments, ladies. Oh dear. Do, 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 do. Hello, Facebook family as well. Just hold on, I'm doing something quickly on my phone. Well, I'm trying to, anyway. Okay. Lashley's Cakes, how's it going? And hey to anybody who is watching on Facebook. I'm on Facebook and I'm on Instagram, so trying to make it happen. You know, I had my I was reluctant to come on here today because I was on here earlier. I was on here earlier with my church family trying to do a stream, and all my tech just can't stand it at all. So I was like, you know what, I can't be bothered. I really can't. But I'm here. Let me see. Thank you, Star to Perfection. My hair, you like the grey, you like the grey. Yeah. Okay. Let's get into it because I don't really want to be long on this live really because there's more to come actually. There's more stuff that I'm trying to plan, but I wanted to just kind of just share my thoughts in terms of stuff with Women on the Rise and what's been going on. So Women on the Rise has been a it's been sort of like a love hate project like for many years now because just as someone who is a Christian believer, I often found that there were a lot of different things pertaining to women in general in terms of helping women to feel empowered in various areas, and I just didn't quite know where I fit, so I didn't want to come like with another, oh, this is another women's thing again. And so that's why I felt that myself and God, like I wrestled for a long time with it because I was like, well, Lord, there's so many different things out there, and I think that we can say that in even now, like with all of the stuff that's online, there's so many different things that are pulling for our attention, for our time, claiming to be this, that, and the other, and many of them are legitimate things. Some of them not so good, but either way, to me personally, because of my personality, I'm a person where I don't really like to do something again if it's already been done well by somebody else. And so, when it came to the whole concept of Women on the Rise over the years, as I was just chewing and pondering as to what I bring, what is my expression to the body of Christ, to Christians, what does that look like? How does that work? One of the things for me, I think, in terms of just embracing my own identity in Christ is just the difference that I bring, as in, I have very much a tech focus, been into engineering, those kind of things. I always felt that I was a little bit different in the way that I kind of moved and carried myself and so on. And so where Women on the Rise is concerned, it always has been meant to be quite provocative in that for those of us who say that we are born again believers, that we weren't just going to be content with just going to church and that's it, but that we were going to be able to learn who we are so that we can impact the world and find our relevance in the world. That's always been a thing for me. So, I have done some stuff through Women on the Rise that hasn't been as publicized, if you like. I've been doing some stuff behind the scenes under that sort of banner, and then more recently, at the beginning of the year, I came up with some podcasts. Don't ask. It's been busy. I came up with a few episodes, and then well, for a lot of us anyway, the pandemic happened, and it kind of just changed up life for us in different ways. So the podcast will be rolling out soon, but it just meant that even from a personal point of view, I run my own business and have been doing so for quite a few years now. So things just got busy for me. So then I had to kind of put a pause on the podcast. But the reason why I've come on today to come on live is really I want to be able to share about something that has been on my heart for a while as part of what I do through my business. And to kind of give a bit of a background, my business is 7D. It's called 7D Online. If you want to go and check it out, you can. It's on all the socials. But in terms of what I do, I'm very much in the digital space. So I've been helping many different people with things like how to develop an online presence, how to get your website together, how to get your branding together, how to understand all the different digital and tech tools that you can use to help your business flow and all these different kind of things, and helping people to make that transition from just having a business idea that you have on paper or on a post-it or something, into actually running that business. Not so much dealing with the with the whole financials and the business planning side, because I think that is still very much a legitimate part of the business process that some people miss. But it's like once you've gotten past all that in terms of the planning and knowing what your service is going to be and so on and so forth, then you need to understand what your business looks like in the context of this digital space that we're in. And whether we like it or not, particularly, I think that the pandemic kind of amped this up for us in terms of our reliance on tech and digital tools. It really did, because we couldn't go out and we couldn't do certain things. So what did we do? We were shopping online. We were, some of us were maybe on BBC a lot more. We were watching things on Facebook because some of us had nothing to do, or we were on Netflix and whatnot. All of these things really kind of changed our habits. Maybe we realized or not, I don't know, but they did. Yeah. And so as far as I'm concerned, in terms of what I do, I'm on the internet all the time, so I get to observe a lot of things and see a lot of different trends and stuff like that. So in the line of my business, I've been coming across a variety of people that are at different stages of business. Some of them, they are already established and they're running their business full time, and that's their first or their primary source of income. Some people are just starting up and just chewing on the idea, and then there are some that are sort of like in what we call now the side hustle thing, where it's like a part-time gig, but you're still relying on your full-time income. Okay, but what's been bothering me personally, as someone who before I run a business, my relationship with God comes first. What's been bothering me is that I'm dealing with a lot of, particularly women, that come to me and they have a variety of needs in terms of how to move their business forward. But I'm just noticing that there were just so many gaps in their thinking around how does my business translate into the digital space. And I'd sometimes be asking them questions, common sense questions to me anyway, like, what is your business and who are you trying to target? And it would pain me a lot that there were so many that just did not know. And then that's when I realized that some of it had also to do with the fact that there had been very little business planning or very little thought that's gone into it, because to a degree, some of us, we got caught up on some of the messages that we get, as in, oh, how to grow your Instagram followers, or what to do on Facebook, or you need to do this, you need to blog, you need to do all this kind of stuff, and not necessarily having a real sense of a plan or a roadmap as to, if you do this you get this out, if you do this you get this out, and the context for all of that effort. So it really kind of got to me. And even sometimes when I, instances where people ask me to build websites, and I'm like, yeah, okay, so I need your content. Like, I need to kind of know what it is that you do. And for some, it's like they didn't really know. Or they didn't even know that they didn't know, because there's certain things that I would expect that you would have to give me in order for me to build something for you. And there was a lot of times that people did not know. So for me, it really kind of got to me because, particularly if I do meet people, who are Christians, I will want to kind of go out of my way to try and help where I can. I don't really care which church you're from. I'm not that fussed about that. I'm more interested in the fact that actually, if you believe that God has given you an idea, then you still also need to understand how that translates into the world that we're in now. It's not just all about, sorry guys, but it's not just all about praying and waiting on God, and then it's just going to magically happen and sit in our lap. There's been too many of us that I found that God could have given us like some game changing ideas, like things that are really meant to be innovative, that are really meant to change things in the world that we're in now, but our head isn't in the game. Our head is not in the game because some of us, it's like we're still stuck on how we do things in terms of the church, and not understanding that actually, if you're going to come out here outside of the church and have relevance and have impact, then we've got to up our game. Simple as that. So the things that might be okay, sort of like at HQ, at home, that's all right. There's certain things that you can do, certain different mistakes you can make and what have you. And I'm not saying you're not going to make mistakes professionally, but there's certain things that when you get out here, if you want people to take you seriously, in terms of making money, in terms of being an influencer, if you like, in terms of you being able to grow, then we need to up our game. And I felt that there was just too many of us that our heads were not in the game. There were things, or there were standards that we're trying to push and put out there, that it was like, no, that was okay on a certain level, but now that you're saying that you've got all these big ideas and these big dreams and everything, you need to understand how that translates into this world that you're in. And so, yeah, when I was dealing with people like that, or coming across people like that, there's only so much I could do within the context that I will be working with that person, because again, as I said, I run my business full time. But this, in terms of Women on the Rise for Business, this idea came to me a while ago, really, that I want to be able to use the insight that I have about the digital space to help those of us who actually have ideas, who actually, or have even started to put our ideas in motion, but you still haven't got the roadmap, you still haven't got context for what you're doing yet. Hey Candice, how you doing? So that's what I wanted to do. So this is not specifically about me, trying to make more money out of what I know, so to speak. Although there's some things that I'm going to be offering that is going to cost you something, because you can't get nothing out here for free. But the thing I'm trying to bring across, really, the heart behind Women on the Rise for Business, is that I want to do my part to kind of help those of us who say, what, God has given me this idea, but sometimes, because the digital space can be quite overwhelming, it's like you put it on pause, or you put it on hold, or you just sit on it, because it's like, oh, there's just too much to do, or there's just, or you go and you sit and you listen to one person talk about A, B, C, and D, and then you go and put the effort in, or in some cases, if you try to go and put money into advertising and it didn't work, and you were expecting miracles, and you're expecting all this stuff, and then even when we do those kind of exercises, it's like we still haven't even put in the background processes to say, what tools can I use that would help me to present more professionally, that would help me to present more seamlessly, and even to, I think also as well, what's important with this whole digital space is that just because we for example, on social media can do things almost instantaneously, it does not actually mean that the results for your business in the digital space is going to be instantaneous. I think that that is a massive fallacy out here. And because we do watch a lot of these ads that says, let me tell you how I can make, 1 million in 30 days. While that may be true, I'm not going to say anything against anybody's business, but it's oftentimes that we don't take on board the work, the level of work that you have to put in. So that's why I say that actually, when it comes to figuring out this digital space, it's going to require something of us. It's the same way that it requires of me every day to kind of keep up with things, to be able to process and to crunch things, in order to come out with the outcomes that I need. So I think, as I said, I think, it's one thing for me to kind of moan and grumble, like, oh, I've come across all these, a lot of, women in the body of Christ, and, like, it's like, a lot of us, like, we're just, our head is not in it. But I think that there was a part of me as well that's like, well, I want to be able to be part of the solution. I want to be able to do something for people that are serious. And when I say people that are serious, I have to make that demarcation, because there are a lot of us that we are wishful thinkers when it comes to having our own business and things like that. Like, you could just be in that space right now where you don't like your job. And, because everyone's starting a business, I think, well, I'll do that. I'm going to do this and this and this. Oh, I'm going to set up something with Amazon or whatever. I'm going to, and that's fine if that's what you want to do. But if you're talking about building something that is long lasting, if we're talking about, on the levels of like Virgin and Microsoft, like businesses that it took time for them to grow, it took time for them to put in the work, then we have to be serious. And I say that because I think that a lot of us, like I said, because our head isn't in the game, we don't necessarily count the cost of this idea that we think that we have. We think that because of whatever advert we've seen online, or just how easily we think that people put stuff out there and it gets results, not so. And that's one of the things that I want to bring to the table, is to bring the right perspective, that actually, if you say that you're serious, then it's going to require something of your life. Even for what I do now, it requires something. I can't just be casual about what I'm doing. It requires something of me personally. It requires something in terms of my relationships even. There's people around me that, it's like, you're going to have to understand that my head's going to be in a certain place for a while. So I can't come out and play like I used to, do you know what I mean? Because I have to give myself to this. And so that's kind of what I want to be able to bring to the table as well, is that, if you really feel that, you want to be able to put your ideas in motion, but you want to do it in the right way, if I can say the right way, but you want to do it, armed with the right information. And when I say the right information, I'm bringing what I know in terms of my knowledge, because I'm in it. There's a lot of different bits and pieces that I've learned over the years. A lot of it actually through mistakes. Things I've had to read, some things I've had to chew, and I have to keep up to date with, what's going on, what's the latest thing that's happening on social media, what's the latest thing that's happening with the internet, and how that affects business. So actually, just to give you an example, I was sharing some information on my WhatsApp status the other day using an infographic. And it was just basically showing the statistics in terms of the internet growth between 2019 and 2020. And on one of the infographics that I was sharing, one of the things that it said in 2019 is that for every minute online, there was over $1 million that was being spent on the internet. And according to them, that was for every minute. So that says a lot to me, in that actually, in terms of our business and what it's going to look like, we're going to have to be prepared that actually our business has to have some sort of robustness when it comes to the digital space, in order for you to get a slice of that $1 million. If that's being spent, every minute, that was in last year. And so you can imagine even this year, like in terms of what's going across the internet right now, it's going to be crazy. So sometimes though, when we're putting things out there, we don't actually think in that context, that actually, how do I kind of get into that mindset? How do I kind of get into that space? So what I wanted to do for Women on the Rise for Business is that I wanted to start to put together some things to try and be the solution. But I want to be very specific about what I bring to the table, because I don't want to be doing necessarily what's already out here. Like, we've got Facebook groups, we've got people we can follow on Instagram, we've got people in WhatsApp groups even. Fantastic. All of those things are great. But I think that if I'm going to be taking my time, if that makes sense, to put stuff together, then I want to be very specific about what I'm bringing to the table as well. Um, yeah, Lashley's Cakes, it's true. It's very easy to do the whole setting up of a business, but to keep it sustainable takes work. Absolutely. So even the whole idea of setting up a business, even I think that that needs revision, because there's a difference between setting up a business, as in I'm going to go on Amazon and I'm going to sell product, versus actually setting up a brand, which is something, it's an identity that people relate to, that talks about your service, or your product. There's two differences. I can go on Amazon right now and decide, okay, you know what, I can be up and running in a couple hours, selling product, and that will be my business. But yeah, there is a lot of work for me to compete with all the different people, all the different sellers on Amazon, and all the different bits, as in, how do I communicate with people, all this kind of stuff. How do I understand about my obligations in terms of the internet and GDPR and blah blah blah. So yeah, very easy to kind of get going in that sense, but the sustaining and the maintenance is another thing. So what I actually want, though, um, there is more detail that's going to be coming soon. But what I actually want is, I'm trying to do some data gathering first. And I've actually set up a survey link, which I've actually posted on Facebook. For those of you that may be watching, please do click on that link after we're done here. Or you can do it while I'm speaking. I'm not mind. You don't have to stick around for the whole of what I'm saying. But I'm trying to do some data gathering because I kind of want to test the water. I want to see what it is that that women may be struggling with. I want to kind of get an idea, so that not only can I then know, okay, this is what I'm bringing to the table, but I can also be in a position to say what I'm not serving. So, I will tell you right now that I will not be doing financial forecasting with people. I will not be doing that. But then I may decide that actually I may want to hit on, some of the mindsets regarding how you deal with money, because the way that you deal with money personally, it does actually affect how you deal with money in business. So, just for some of us, if we're just all over the place with our finances, and you just have to be open and honest with yourself about that. If that is where you're at, then when it comes to running a business, there are so many different things that are going to be happening that it does require a shift in your mindset. So I really would like to have more of that survey filled in, if I'm honest with you, to help me to put the data together, to actually be able to go away and chew on things some more, and then be able to come back and say, actually, yeah, this is what I'm going to be introducing. So what I actually need from you is a bit of help. I need you to either share that survey link that I've actually dropped in the comment. If you're on Instagram, if you actually go over to my profile, the Women on the Rise profile, in the bio link, there is a link that when you click on that, it will take you to like another page, and there's a button there for the business survey. I would really appreciate it if you would help me out by filling that in if you haven't already done so, and to also share that link with other people that you think this would be of benefit of. And I always do say that it's about who you think it would be of benefit, because this is not for everybody. I'm not trying to service everybody. The people that I'm looking for are people who are born again believers, women, by the way, sorry guys, but I'm looking for those people who know that God has actually given you some ideas. Like, he's been speaking to you quite pointedly about this. It could be a profit business, it could be a social enterprise, it could be a CIC, whatever it is. if you know that he's giving you that, then those are the people that I'm more or less trying to target. And then once I've got that information, I'm going to be chewing on that over the next 4 weeks or so. And then I'll have more information as to what it is that I'll be bringing to the table. So yeah, that's actually what I want. I need that survey filled out. It's only 6 questions. By the time the kettle's boiled, you'd have filled it in. Okay, I really need help with getting that survey filled out with as many people as possible. I've already shared it to quite a few people, and I've had quite a lot of respondents actually. But again, there's a certain limit that I'm looking for in terms of the people to respond, so that I can then be in a position to plan effectively as to what I'm going to bring to the table for Women on the Rise for Business. So yeah, that is basically it. As I said, my podcast will be on their way soon, and actually, in the podcast, there will be some points where I will touch. There will be a bit of overlap, basically, because that's meant to be the substance of Women on the Rise anyway. Women on the Rise is actually meant to be about women finding their relevance as far as their faith is concerned when it comes to sharing with the world. And Women on the Rise for Business is just how we do that through business. So yeah, the podcasts that I have released, again, you can actually go on my Facebook page. There's links to that, or you can go to the website and listen to those. It's womenontherise.org.uk. You can go and listen to those if you want, but there will be more on the way. But in particular, it's that link to the survey that I would like to have filled in. So I'm trying to look at my notes. Have I forgotten anything? Oh yes, one more thing. So if you actually wanted to ask me anything, if there's something in terms of what I've said today that wasn't entirely clear, then my email is uprise@womenontherise.org.uk, or if you're following me here on Instagram or on Facebook, then again, you can direct message me that way. But if I'm honest with you, you're more likely to catch me if you email me, because I'm not always on Messenger on Facebook, and I'm not always on Messenger for Instagram. So yeah, email me. That's probably your best bet, kind of thing. And that's it, guys. So yeah, please do help me out by filling in the survey. That's either in the bio link for my Instagram profile or in the comment that I've just dropped in Facebook. Yeah, help me get that data going, so that actually, if when I do come out, I say when, it's not an if, but it's a when I do come out, then actually what I'm bringing to the table, I want it to be of substance. I don't just want to be another voice out here, so to speak. There's a particular type of woman that I'm looking for. And so what I would even also ask as well is, if you're watching this, if what I've said actually resonates with you somewhere, is actually, you know what, go back to God and, let him confirm what I'm saying, if that makes sense to you. Let that be something that you actually go back, that even if what I'm saying here, even if if I did bring out something in a couple of weeks and what I was bringing wasn't for you, I still want you to be able to go back to God, to actually go back and look at those ideas again, because the world has changed so much, and this is really a pivotal time for opportunity for all of us in the body of Christ, if we can see it and if we're ready to kind of capitalize on it. So apart from filling in the survey, yeah, go back to God. Pull out the pieces of paper, wherever you've got them, the idea that he flashed on you even yesterday, okay? I would say to go back to him, and really flesh that out and begin to ask the questions and ask him what you should do next, okay? So I'll probably be back after I've kind of had some time to chew on the respondents for the survey. But until then, have a lovely evening. I was going to say afternoon, but what's the time now? It's 6:30. Yeah, have a lovely evening. And as I said, any comments or questions, in the first instance, uprise@womenontherise.org.uk. Secondarily, yes, you can send me direct messages on Facebook and Instagram. Thank you, guys. Speak to you soon.